Hey guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another Retro RPG. Because at the end of another week, the end of another poll, we've got a very slim win for Ninjas and Super Spies. Now this is going to be a PDF review, so we'll be going over to the computer desktop to have a look at that in a wee second. As usual, I'll be back at the end of the video with some other channel related stuff and some other poll related stuff. But before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to talk about my Patreons, who this week I've been told are 17.5% more attractive than the common person. Now, there's nothing to link that with being a Patreon of mine, it just seems to be a common factor though. So, if you'd like to be 17.5% more attractive, or you'd like to help the channel out, or you'd like to gain access to these videos a week early, or you'd like to see the Patreon specials that we release over there, or one of the other levels of patronage we've got, then the Patreon's in the description down below. If you check it out, it'd be very much appreciated. But anyway, let's have a look at Ninjas and Super Spies. So, this is Ninjas and Super Spies, Revised Edition. Came out from Palladium Games. The original came out in 1984, but this one came out in 1990. Now, this is their game of Ninjas and Super Spies. It's martial arts stuff, and it's a spy game, which kind of match together, especially in sort of televisual movies and things. If you think Enter the Dragon, he's being a bit of a spy, he's doing his martial arts. And that's what this game's trying to fit into. Although, unlike things like Rifts, it doesn't have a background. It has rules for making up your own secret organizations, and it's set in the current world. So, there isn't much more to it than that. There's just a big set of rules here. So this is absolutely brilliant if you want to incorporate it with your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because they all use the same rules, Palladium games. If you wanted to have some kind of martial arts within your fantasy games, or if you want to include all that kind of stuff in your Rifts campaign. But there's also all the other one-shots that they did, which you could combine this with. It's the marvel of Palladium games that are giving you such a big rule set to play around with. Now, the martial arts promises a lot, and it works in a fairly interesting way, but I don't think it really delivers on all its promises. But anyway, let's have a look at the back cover first. There's not a lot on it. Nice line art up there, black and white image. And he tells us that we've got 48 mystic martial art powers, including 6 different ninja arts of invisibility, 12 mystical mind powers of the martial arts, and 4 mind-boggling Zengerite supernatural martial art abilities. 41 martial art forms, ranging from Taekwondo karate to monkey-style kung fu, from Thai kickboxing to ninjutsu. And we've got espionage agents. In addition to arming themselves with a galaxy of gimmicks, gizmos, and weapons, also have access to cybernetic modifications, including dozens of possible eyeball replacements, arm and hand replacements, leg and foot replacements, and communication or computer implants, plus 7 cyber disguises. Compatible with Heroes Unlimited, so if you want to have a superheroes game where people were playing a secret agent or using martial arts, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Rifts, an entire Palladium Megaverse, an entire Palladium Megaverse. Why it says it twice, I don't know. They're the same thing. So, inside, we've got Palladium's usual high-quality art. It's really good, evocative stuff, nice quality. Reasonable desktop publishing, it's all very readable. And there's loads and loads of information in here. Compatible with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and After the Bomb. We've got a large table of contents, quick find, a couple of disclaimers. Their big disclaimer is that they're not an expert in all martial arts. Stories behind it. Role-playing game terms. I like the fact that it defines death. Just in real life, characters can die. Fancy role-playing games, insight for the beginner player. And we're into creating a character. Now, one of the problems I do have with this is a lot of it looks lifted from other Palladium games. Now, that's completely understandable. That if you're going to have guns, which you will need for a spy game, you're just going to lift them from your other games, which are compatible. Because how many times you need to come up with stats for an M16 assault rifle or a Colt 45 pistol or whatever. You don't need to duplicate the work of creating them. but it does mean that a lot of this feels duplicated from other books. We've got lots of standard weapons, we've got cybernetics which feel lifted from Rifts, and the martial arts, while new here, feel very compatible with everything else. But that's the big new part. So we've got, as I said, character creation, rolling your 8 attributes, select an OCC, pick martial arts forms, skills and powers, quick rolling up a martial art, lots of tables here, roll up your character background, where they come from, what languages they speak, etc., height and weight, their background, they can be formerly insane or a former drug addict, character's family background. You calculate your hit points, SDC and key. Recovery of hit points, surviving coma and death, just all the usual rules things. Structural damage capacity, your SDC. Obviously this isn't Rift, so you don't get MDC in this at all. Key, how to determine that, how to recover it. Surviving having 0. Looking up your attribute bonuses based on what level your attributes go to. We've got buying equipment, choosing your alignment and discipline. Going through all the different alignments, experience point systems, insanity tables. As I said, this all feels very familiar. We've seen the insanity tables in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as lots of other Palladium games. I don't know if they're identical, I haven't gone and compared them. Skill programs. So you can be a gizmoteer. What else we got here? Locksmith and security skill programs, medical skill programs, military skill programs, your basic ones, so you could be a journalist, Oriental studies, science, physical. We've got special skills listed, all the skill descriptions, going through all of those. Again, feels very familiar, as if they've lifted them from other modern day games. And then we're on to the OCC. So we've got the martial arts occupational character class. We've got super spies, including cyber agents and wired agents, gadgeteer agents. We've got the OCC free agents, so a private eye, a wandering free agent, a thief. We've got the gizmoteers, so dreamers, gizoid, tinkerers. We've got mercenaries. You could be a commando or a cyborg soldier. A veteran grunt. We've got your cover identities, because if you're going to be a spy, you might have a secret identity. Talking out how they could be. You're a diamond trader or a diplomat. A mercenary, a weapons dealer. You could be a mercenary whose undercover job is mercenary. Then we've got spy agencies, but as I said, it doesn't lay out any. It's not setting up the world that you'll be working for a fictionalized version of the CIA or MI6 or anything like that. It's just giving you rules to make your own. What is your agency? Is it a martial arts school or a crime buster agency, an international espionage agency, super spy agency, a mega spy agency? What features do they have? Do you come with outfits? Is it an open wardrobe, specialty clothing? What else we got? Gimmicked equipment, different weapons and vehicles. Just laying out everything as you make up your agency, probably working with your players to create who they are working for. And then we've got cybernetics. Now this image hints to me that this is lifted from Rifts. That looks very familiar. But we've got eye augmentations here, needle projectors, spike throwers, mini lasers. That definitely looks like an image from Rifts as well. So I think a lot of these cybernetics are just lifted out. Obviously the super powerful ones will have been removed, but it's just edited down. Lung implants, extremity implants, building super vehicles. So are you going to create a super motorbike or a van? Air vehicles, supersonic speeds there, flight suits. And then we're on to the bulk of the book, the important part, why you would probably be buying this, the martial arts. So we've got a big list of different martial arts here, but we're going to find them fairly similar, because all they are doing is giving you certain bonuses as you go up in levels, based on what that martial art's about, and certain maneuvers, what they call special attacks. So we've got basic hand-to-hand equivalent to judo. What requirements are needed, how many attacks you get per melee, escape moves, defensive moves, hand attacks, foot attacks, and special attacks. Whether there's weapon katas, modifiers to attacks, multiple attackers, and then your level advancement. So at first level you get +2 to pull roll with punch of 4. Second level +2 to parry dodge, going up, so at 14th level +2 to damage. 15th level +1 to strike. And that's the way every martial art's done. It's listing out the different effects it gets from a fairly standard list, and then giving you bonuses as you go up. So every martial artist will come out different if they're doing different martial arts, because they'll have access to certain abilities. And they'll get bonuses on certain of those abilities and certain other ones. So every martial artist does come out unique, but they're all kind of generic. They're all lifting from this toolbox. Anyway, we've got Expert Hand-to-Hand, Commando, Assassin Hand-to-Hand, Taekwondo, Akwiki, Aikido, Bok Pai, Cha Chuan, Kung Fu. I'm not even going to try and pronounce some of these. Drunken style of Kung Fu. What else we got? Karate, different types, Jiu-Jitsu, yet more karates. Monkey style Kung Fu, Mugi Gong, Ninjutsu, Leopard style, Shaolin. Pages and pages of them. As you see, all of them have a description, and then the bonuses, what combat skills, which escape moves, attack moves, defensive moves, right through to special attacks, and then the bonuses per level. Taekwondo, Tai Chi, Thai kickboxing, Xing Chao, and through to the Zeds. And then we've got martial art powers. So we've got various special abilities. The art of stealth, the art of hiding, the art of evasion, the art of vanishing. All different stealth abilities. Healing. Neural attorney? Blood flow attorney? Different abilities which grant you extra. Key mastery. Positive key skills. Negative key skills. Martial arts techniques. Then a detailed version of hand-to-hand combat, talking about how to handle that, and making it a bit more exciting than just rolling dice. It does talk through different things you can choose to do. So rather than just rolling to attack, rolling your damage, you do have all these extra abilities to choose from, and defenses you can put up. So it makes combat between two martial artists interesting as you're playing on these different abilities. But as I said, it doesn't add much variety between all the different martial artists. They're still lifting from the same toolkit. Well, that's pretty interesting. We've got modern weapons. As I said, these appear to be mainly lifted from other versions. Vehicle combat, car combat, crash and damage rules, how to handle chases and critical damage, air and space combat rules. As I said, these weapons, this looks like the page out of Palladium Fantasy for melee weapons. There's a couple of obviously more martial arts ones in here. Then we've got modern weapons, and again this looks lifted maybe from Recon or one of the other modern day weapons. We've got lots of pistols, submachine guns, rifles, heavy weapons, different grenades. We've got specialized spy weapons here. Communications equipment, sensory equipment, loads and loads of spy tools, a Games Master section, some overviews of the Orient. So talking about China, Japan, Korea, a cure for DIMAC, optional conversion rules using Ninjas Superspies with Palladium RPG, and going on, martial arts forms with Heroes Unlimited or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Common questions using Heroes Unlimited with Ninjas and Super Spies. That's a sort of Rifts character there, so using martial arts in Rifts, sorry. And we've got a couple of adventures. Shining Dragon Terrorism, with some evil organizations. Crack. Does it even say what the letters stand for? No, it's a generic bad guy agency like Spectre and Smersh and all that kind of thing out of James Bond. Glossary, a note on languages and pronunciation, something I probably should have read through in more detail. Character sheet, and we've got adverts here for some other Palladium games, Rifts, Palladium Fantasy, Heroes Unlimited, Nightbane, including lots of stuff for Heroes Unlimited there, the Rifter, and that's us. So, while I don't think Ninjas and Superspies is a fantastic standalone game, I think it could be really interesting to incorporate in your other games. If you wanted to play a martial artist type in Rifts or Palladium Fantasy, if you wanted to play a proper monk with martial arts abilities, making it far more interesting than just rolling and hitting. And although I say that, I do think you can make quite an interesting Street Fighter type game here. Because you are playing with all these different abilities. And combat between two martial artists can play out very interesting, as they do have extra bonuses to attacks, defense, special abilities, which could make a combat really, really interesting, in the same way the Street Fighter game does, because you are just fighting all the time, but you've got all these extra abilities. So that was Ninjas and Superspies, and that won the poll this week with some 30% of the vote. Although that lead was narrowed down. It was leading from the start, but it was narrowed down as the week went on. As Forbidden Lands by Freya Ligon from 2018 got up to 28%, and Feng Shui by Atlas Games from 1999 got up to 25%. But lagging behind was In Nomine from Steve Jackson Games 1997, which came in on only 17%. Although it was a popular choice in the comments, but sadly not this time. But all of them were suggestions from viewers, so they will be going back into the poll. And as usual, after these videos, if you've got any suggestions you'd like to add, I can put it into the list, put them into the polls in the future. Just make them in those comments below. Now, they're all wiped out the poll, and we're going back to a Retro Adventures one. And basically I'm just choosing stuff off my shelves this time. So, first up we've got Divided Assets for Shadowrun, came out from Fazer in 1994. An adventure I don't remember much about. I'm sure I played it, but reading through it will refresh my memories. I'm sure it'll be a whole load of fun. Shadowrun adventures generally are pretty good, especially the early 90s ones were very, very nice. After that, we've got Vulture Warriors of Dimension X for Paranoia from West End Games in 1990. Now, I've covered other parts of this campaign. It was a campaign where troubleshooters from Paranoia are going back through time into other role-playing games, Cyberpunk, Twilight 2000, etc., to try and fix the timeline. And it was a whole load of fun, but this is the main book to that campaign with an adventure in it. So we will see if that wins, and we'll have a look through it. After that, we've got Caravans of Mars for Space 1889 by Games Designers Workshop in 1989. Now, this is one of the Mars series of adventures, so set on the Red Planet with its collapsing civilization and the canals and all that. But it's half sourcebook and half adventure, so it'll be fun to look through the sourcebook and see how the adventure relies on that, as so many adventures do. And finally, we've got Old Soldiers Never Die for the Star Trek role-playing game from Fazer in 1986. And we've covered Star Trek adventures in the past, and they've always been very, very interesting. If not brilliant, they've always had some fantastic Star Trek ideas in them, and been a whole load of fun, so it'll be nice to look through them. What else have I been up to? Well, over on RPG Gamer, we have finished doing Andor, we've finished doing Tales of the Underworld, and we've gone back onto the Legacy series of comics. So we're starting to work our way through those again, doing one issue, starting it the next day, and working my way through that entire series, which is now relegated to the Legends multiverse. Anyway, as usual, I think I've been wittering on for quite long enough, so thank you very much for watching. But as always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.